Ladies and gents, it's time to face a harsh reality that's been simmering beneath the surface of our society. We've got a pattern emerging that's as clear as day, yet as disturbing as a thunderstorm on a summer's day. We're talking about a trend of Islamist extremism making its presence felt in our schools, the most troubling place it perhaps can be felt. First it was the Batley Grammar School, then it was Brent, and now it's Leyton. Each a chapter in a saga that's turning our schools into ideological battlegrounds. Let's start with Batley Grammar School. Here we had a teacher just doing his job, right? He showed a cartoon in a class, in a religious education class. What followed wasn't a debate or a discussion, it was an explosion of outrage, leading to death threats and a teacher that was forced into hiding. Apparently him and his wife still in hiding. This wasn't just an overreaction, it was a full-blown assault on the principles of free speech and the sanctity of our educational institutions. A teacher should not be told that they will lose their life if they show a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad. This is an increasingly secular society, and I'm afraid your religious intolerance doesn't have any truck now, in the same way that when Monty Python was making cartoons and animations and taking the mickey out of Jesus Christ, it had no currency then either. It was allowed to go ahead, and we've got to defend it now. Shift your gaze though to Brent, to the Michaela School, a bastion of educational excellence by every report that's ever done about it, where Katharine Birbalsingh, she's head teacher, she's known as the strictest head teacher in the country, but I tell you what, Katharine Birbalsingh is a woman that makes my heart sing what she does for kids. Her team dared to enforce a secular environment that took a stand against the disorder and division caused by ritual prayer in schools, only to find themselves in the crosshairs of a high court battle. It's a clear-cut case of an educational policy being hijacked by a minority hell-bent on imposing their religious practices in a secular school setting, in which Muslim kids who don't take part in the prayers are then bullied and intimidated by the kids that do. The school was even forced to close for Christmas 2 days early after hoax claims that bombs had been placed on their premises following that decision to impose a so-called prayer ban. And now we've got Leyton, where Barclay Primary School finds itself under siege. A dispute over a Palestinian flag has escalated into threats of arson and bombs, pushing the school to the brink of closure. The school have said they might have to move to online learning. Now, this is troubling so soon after the lockdowns in which children's education and well-being was severely impacted. This isn't about, right, a piece of cloth on a coat. It's about a group using intimidation and terror tactics to impose their political ideology in a place where children should be learning maths and English, not about how to duck for cover. But what do these three incidents all tell us? Well, to me, they paint a picture of growing trends where Islamist extremists are no longer content with the streets or public squares, which of course they've had every weekend, in London especially. They're now targeting schools. It's a strategy clear as day, to infiltrate and influence the minds of the next generation. Our schools, which should be temples of learning and free thought, are being transformed into arenas of ideological showdowns. It's not just shocking in my view, it's outright unacceptable. Our schools should be places where different views are discussed, not where teachers fear for their lives over a lesson plan or a cartoon, or for saying you can't pray here but at home, or for saying you can't fly a Palestinian flag in this school. There should be environments where children from all backgrounds come together to learn, not where they're caught in the crossfire of extremist ideologies. It's high time that we asked ourselves, what is it in particular with these extremists, Islamist extremists, and schools? Why are they targeting these bastions of education? The answer is as simple as it is sinister. Schools are the breeding grounds for the future. And by infiltrating them, by intimidating the teachers who stand against it, these extremists are trying to shape the future to their warped ideologies. So what do you at home, what do you do if you agree with me? Well, I say we ought to stand up. We ought to speak out. Not only that, but we rally behind our schools, our teachers, and our educational values. We make clear, crystal clear actually, that our schools are no place for extremist agendas. We need to ensure that the government, the legal system, and that society as a whole support schools in maintaining an environment that's free from intimidation and fear. Because I tell you what, the cases of Batley, of Brent and Leyton, they're not just isolated incidents. They're alarm bells warning us of the storm that's brewing. It's a storm that'll brew if we don't take action now, if we don't staunchly defend our values, our educational institutions. We risk seeing them transformed into breeding grounds that I speak of. The future of our nation, the minds of our children, they're at stake here. It's a battle that we can't afford to lose. It's a battle that we have to fight with every ounce of our conviction to ensure that our schools remain sanctuaries of learning, not front lines of ideological warfare. Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.